my weekend and enjoy my birthday off from work.
Yep. And welcome to another episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast weekly discussion. I'm Taylor Phillips, along with Ed Smith. We have some breaking news, and then we'll get to some Pistons and Tigers, and a quick mention on the Red Wings here. So, man, oh man, believe it or not, top story: Glenn Schembechler has resigned from the post at the University of Michigan just 3 days after being hired. He was the son of former Michigan football head coach Bo Schembechler. Man, oh man. So we dug out some tweets and replies that he liked in his actual account, but you pointed out that he deleted his account, deleted his Twitter handle, which is hilarious to me. And it's
He either made it private or deleted his account. It was one or the other, but from when I last checked, it was a deletion. And honestly, it's for the better.
yeah. But here's the thing: to have a private account, you have to protect your tweets at least.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and I don't see an account with with tweets being protected anywhere on Twitter.
So more than
Reading,
likely, we're just gonna say he deleted his account because from all I'm hearing and seeing, after all this broke down, and after he resigned, he did in fact delete his account.
yeah. So, yep. So it was. Let me dig it up here. It was 3 days after he was hired. Um, on
Should be
Wednesday.
there should be a link I just sent you.
Oh yeah. Um, yeah. From Larry Brown Sports. Hang on a second. Schembechler resigns from Michigan over his Twitter activity. Oh my God. Here we go. So he's resigned from his position as Michigan's assistant director of recruiting just days after being hired. Just 3 days after being hired. Glenn Schembechler III announced during the week via his Twitter account that he had taken a position with Michigan, but the position didn't last long. Schembechler, the son of legendary former Michigan coach Bo Schembechler, resigned over concerns that arose regarding his Twitter account. Schembechler liked several tweets coming from figures on the political right and or supporting non-left political viewpoints, but he had a few specific likes that stood out in a negative way. One like one like from Schembechler's account that drew the most attention was of a tweet that spun Jim Crow laws in a positive light. Ace Anbender tweeted, "It's appalling that Michigan hired Schembechler in any capacity." And he tweeted some photos here.
Yeah, it wasn't just Jim Crow that he was that the tweet that in question was talking about. It's also discussing slavery as well as and somehow trying to spin it as a positive for how overcoming it was a positive for Black people in this country. Over forgetting the fact of how horrifically traumatic the whole entire experience was for Black people in all in various shapes and forms, which of course has lingering effects that affects us even till today. So that's beyond that disgusting part.
Yeah,
Not to mention it's incredibly ignorant. Now, listen, I could care less about political tweets. That's well within his right, such as with you, such as with me, such as anyone within this country. That is the freedoms we are afforded to have the type of opinions we want on who we support on which end of the political spectrum. That'll be like me saying, hey, him saying saying he supports Donald Trump or liking a post about supporting Carrie Lake from Arizona. That's mindless to me. I mean, that's minor to me. That would be like me, for example, saying, "Hey, I'm liking a post supporting Gary Peters, or liking a post supporting Vice President Kamala Harris." It's well within our right. It's just opinion. but there's a difference between simple difference of political opinion and rhetoric, racist rhetoric, I would dare say, or rhetoric that supports and defends white supremacy in any type of way, shape, or form or fashion. And when you're dealing with this situation, at where it could cause tremendous blowback on not just the team, the coaching staff, but the school in general, that's a bad problem. And we'll get to other problems regarding the University of Michigan, at least from the basketball team standpoint, very shortly. But in regards to this, for the football team, it's a bad look in multiple ways, especially when you consider the fact that, let's not forget, there's black players obviously on the team, but not just black players. How bad does this look to black recruits and families of black recruits, particularly and especially within Detroit, because we know how vital and essential that Detroit pipeline is to Ann Arbor. So when you have stories or you see one of your coaches or an assistant to your coaches, but just forget about that, he is, as to Michigan ties as anyone because simply based on nepotism alone. But when you see that, liking tweets that says, "Oh, slavery wasn't so bad for black people," how does that affect you? How's that going to reach to you or speak to you as a black player on that team or a black recruit thinking about joining this team if you haven't already committed? So, from that standpoint alone, he had to go. But forget about the moral standpoint or public PR look or in general or common sense. Just based on the merit of how this could have potential negative effects on black players and black recruits in, on, and surrounding your team, was massive. So yeah, for that alone, he had to go.
Yeah, and here are the tweets that he liked. You should from Mercurial 6664.
And remember, we were only quoting. These are not our viewpoints or what are our own thoughts. We are only merely quoting the tweets that were liked by Schembechler himself.
Yes, exactly.
Just want to point that out and note here.
Yep, to our audience, yes.
In terms of proper context.
Yep. It said from Mercurial, you should practice reading / comprehension. And yes, slavery and Jim Crow forced the black family to strive and create businesses and cultivate a basis of wealth for themselves and their progeny. A reliance on handouts weakened the lower income black community and still does. Listen, and then two more. Listen, I realize you're special at this point, so I'm going to spell it out for you. Adversity made humanity. The point Dr. Sowell is making, the black community and family overcame slavery and oppression. Yet government programs created permanent reliance for some black communities. That was before the same tweet that I just read, same first tweet that I just read.
Yeah, again, it's referencing the type of akin to type of dog whistle rhetoric about assistance or welfare, that type of nature, that type of effect. Just mindless drivel.
Yeah, and then two more from America for All and Mr. Johnny Rebick. From America for All, Hakeem, if you believe we are better off now, you better get off whatever you are smoking and get into rehab. And then from Mr. Johnny Rebick, another nonsensical tweet from the leader of the House minority. And then a GIF with 4 people dancing around. The tribe has spoken.
And they were dark-skinned tribal members, by the way. It's worth mentioning and noting that for the proper context as well. So again, horrible, awful look, especially if you're on a team that has a surplus amount of black players, black talent, black alumni, and black recruits.
Yep, that's true. So that article was from Larry Brown Sports. Follow them on Twitter at Larry Brown Sport. There we go. Found it, and I tweeted it just now. So there you go. Speaking of Michigan, let me select all and cut. From college basketball news. Speaking of Michigan, Caleb Love has been reported as ineligible to transfer in Michigan and won't return to North Carolina because he didn't have the proper credits. So Michigan
Oh,
basketball, the Wolverines just can't catch a break with Juwan
no, they
Howard as head
cannot.
coach.
They cannot. It's been one thing after another with this past off season, whether it be Dickinson leaving, entering the transfer portal, Barnes leaving as well, um, Kobe Buffkin and Jed Howard declaring for the draft, and now with this issue coming up with Caleb Love, I guess due to academics or whatever the case may be, uh, it's just beyond infuriating and irritating that this keeps happening, and it further underlies improvements and changes I think that could have to happen to ensure situations like this don't keep reoccurring. Let's not forget about the fact that Hunter Dickinson, the one big reason why he decided to enter the portal was he felt that the school just was not doing enough in terms of what the other schools are doing with regards to with NIL deals. And so that's one reason he decided to enter the portal. And look where he's ended up now. He's ended up in Kansas. I'm pretty sure they're going to utilize their NIL deals up there way more than we do here in Ann Arbor. So there's that. But I guess what this does leave open now. It leaves open three open scholarships, three open spots of how you can fill up that roster. There's still plenty of guys you can get or look at, whether it be walk-on opportunities or looking into the portal, keep looking back into the portal pool, if you will. But also, it keeps um, trying to show, at least to me, that this could be a looming prove it year for Juwan Howard, to where, hey, we got to show results or else. As much as I like Juwan and was willing to defend him over practically anything, and think that some of the things that has befelled Michigan or the basketball program in recent years are not entirely his fault, he still deserves some type of accountability because what? He's the head coach. And if you're not proving it, um, there's got to be consequences.
Yep, there are. So Juwan Howard's seat has gotten at least a little bit warmer.
Yeah, if it wasn't hot already, it sure as hell is now.
Yeah. So speaking of basketball, switching to the pros, the Pistons dropped
Oh
to
God, do we have
fifth
to?
overall. Yeah, yeah, it's the truth.
Mm.
In the NBA draft lottery, and have widely considered UConn head coach Kevin Ollie as a favorite for their next head coach. The other finalist is Milwaukee Bucks assistant coach Charles Lee. Both of them are according to Yahoo Sports. So let's get to the fifth overall pick. Who should? Well, here's the thing. They had a 47.9 to 52% chance, or one or the other, to get the fifth overall pick, but because they were tanking to become the worst NBA, to have the worst NBA
They had the
record.
worst overall record in the whole damn league, and they wound up ending picking up fifth. I'm sorry. That's about as nightmare a scenario as you could possibly ask for when going into the lottery. And that was the one scenario that you would look to avoid at all costs, and boom, it ended up happening. If we would say we ended up picking second or third, I'm like, I would have been mildly disappointed, but I was like, okay, we could be getting one of these top three prospects. We could be getting Scoot, could be getting Brandon Miller. Let's see how they work on the floor on the team. But no, you get the pick number five, and that pick, depending on how you spin it, it's either barely worth anything or completely worthless. So I don't know what you can do with that. Do you trade it? Do you stand still? Do you pick? Well, what is it? Are you going to do with that? But that's the questions. That's only for Brad. For Troy Weaver to answer in that regard for the Pistons. Now, in terms of Troy Weaver himself, he released a statement saying, we don't cry over spilled milk. We got to do what we got to do, and that's all fine and dandy. But we want to see results now. I liked what you did in getting Cade. I liked how you got Ivy and how you got Duran, but we need to see results. We need to see improvement. We need to see better choices, particularly at what you're going to do with head coach. And I'll get
And
to that
Kate
in a
Cunningham,
second.
Kate Cunningham is the one thing that some Pistons fans have forgotten and chose to say the Pistons will never uh, have nice things or win the lottery. They actually did in 2 years ago, and they locked
Yeah, I mean,
Kate Cunningham up from the get
exactly.
go.
Exactly. You did just win the lottery 2 years ago. So again, like this is why I said I would not have minded if we had picked second or third. I'm more pissed over the fact that we landed up fifth more than anything. You know, that just bothered me more than anything. Like, yeah, they name us at five. Yeah, the Pistons pick at five, and then they go to commercial. No sense of drama. We don't even make the top damn four. So that's what just had me irritated that whole night. But what else can you do with it? Now you just got to move on and see what could be potentially available for you to pick at five. And if there's one player I do see that could be there, as well as many other analysts and people are saying as well that could be there, is for Villanova. That's Cam Whitmore. Now he's a 6'7" wing. He's athletic. He's a slasher. He can finish at the rim. I see him as someone who, on this team with two ball dominant guards, and Cade and Ivy, um, they would need someone who needs to work off ball and be a primary beneficiary or one of the primary beneficiaries of their distribution and how they are essentially playmakers. We even saw that a lot out of Ivy. Of course, we didn't get to see it out of Cade because of his injury, but we know that's in his weaponry versatility, if you will. So getting a slasher, a finisher, just a wing period that can score and get buckets and get feeds from Cade and Ivy, and also take that offensive pressure off of them as well. That will be a crucial need to get for this team this past off season, for this upcoming off season. Now, in terms of Whitmore, if there's things he needs to improve on, I think he's very good defensively. That's good. You need defensive presence on this team badly, but he still needs to work on his shooting. He shot only 34% from three last season, and he shot 45 of 64 from the free throw line. In my opinion, that spells, I won't say red flag, but I will say that's a weakness that has to be changed into a strength. Hopefully, with the right training or the right drills, the right coaches, the right development, he can get that curtailed rather quickly. But as of now, listen, I'm just trying to make the best out of a bad situation here with this. I I got nothing else to really go on here, but I think for Cam Whitmore at five is a realistic possibility, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, I know. And then the head coaching position. Who you got? Kevin Olney or Charles Lee?
Who I want is neither of those two. I'm completely honest with you. In
Neither.
fact, no, because of the fact that Monty Williams has just recently became available. I would say do your best to at least garner an offer or call something, get in contact, do whatever you need to do to at least show that you're trying to do something to land him. I'm of the belief, and I think others are of the belief as well. If had the Pistons, let's say they won the lottery or at least gotten in the top three, they would have been going all in terms of or being very aggressive and trying to pursue the services of Monty Williams. Now, in terms of a screenshot from an article that I shared with you, Taylor, from Yahoo Sports, it did mention that the head coaching candidates that we talked about before, they met with Goris, Kevin Ollie included, and none of them particularly stood out or really impressed Goris in that regard. So it could be a sign to where Goris may feel that if he's going to hire a coach or if Troy was going to hire a coach, it probably is not going to be out of this pack or this group of front runners. We shall see, especially like I said, with the development of Monty Williams being available. We'll have to see where that space goes. But there's just so many questions and unfortunately looming dread for what this offseason could have been, but now seemingly may be for the Pistons. At this point, I just don't need to hear them. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they do this. Let's say, hey, let's go offer Dylan Brooks a contract. Ugh,
Well,
God,
what does it
please.
matter? They'll still be one of the worst teams in the NBA because they are owned by Tom Gores.
Mm.
Yeah. So just I'm just wondering how long Tom Gores will hang on to this, to the ownership of this franchise.
Hmm.
How long? That's my only question.
If attendance starts getting really bad or getting even worse than it really is, or anything that really affects his bottom line, that's what it does to all billionaires, then he'll look into consideration. If not, until then, he won't. He won't care about that.
Right. So the Tigers, they split the 2-game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They take the opener 8-6 last night at Nationals Park, and then earlier today they lose the middle game 5-2 at Nationals Park. The record is 20-23. They're still in second place in the AL Comedy Central. Before we get to the upcoming games, Eduardo Rodriguez kind of had a
He
bit
had
of
a
a
hiccup.
rough outing.
He had a hiccup. Not a
Yeah,
good outing
just
for him. Gave up four runs in 5 innings. Yeah, he got pinched in a couple of pitches by the umpire, so much so that AJ Hinch got incensed and got ejected as a result. Which I didn't mind because I think that's how you stand up for your players and whatnot. Um,
yeah,
as but I
but
would
they
see
weren't going
that
to win that
more.
game anyway.
I see that more. That yeah, but I see that more as a hiccup from Erod. I don't see that becoming the norm, in my opinion.
No,
It's unfortunate that you had the homestand end in a 2-4 record, but it is good to know that you are in probably the worst division in all of baseball because despite a minus 40
division.
run difference of minus 49, you are still in sole possession of second place and only 3 games back of the division lead. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So,
I will say though, at least Michael Lorenzen had a solid outing for once against Pittsburgh. When he went against Pittsburgh.
yeah, he did. 4 nothing. Let me take a look at the box score. Oh, Pirates. That's I'm looking for Tigers here. 6 innings pitched, only 5 hits, 0 runs, and a 4 nothing win. Just
Yeah,
2 walks, 7 strikeouts. His ERA has lowered to 3.44, and his WHIP is 121.
could be a little bit lower, but not bad. Not bad at all.
His
Didn't
WHIP,
Akil and I think Akil Badu had a homer in the first game against the Nats, didn't he?
the Nationals, yeah, he had a 3-run home run.
Exactly. That helped. Essentially proved to be one of the differences in that game in terms of him getting that win. So
Yeah,
good
they
on
almost blew
Akil.
an 8 nothing lead, but
Yeah, but
Alex Ling
every
is the
run,
man.
that's why they call it insurance runs. So
Yep,
good on Akil showing off some sneaky power every once in a while.
yep, yep. Mason Engler continuing to be a dud, but Jason Foley and Alex Ling, they are the men.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what. They have very low ERAs and very low WHIPs. Awesome. That's why the Tigers need them. But Matt Boyd just barely got that win last night. Alex Fido almost didn't have much run support, but he almost pitched to Danny, but he kind of lost grip a little bit in the middle innings, and then yeah, he took the loss.
Hmm.
So, yep, they got tomorrow against the Nationals um, at 1:35.
And then they
Joey
start.
Wentz, and then Rich. Oh, that's oh wait, that's Josiah Gray, not Sonny Gray. It's Josiah Gray with a 2.73 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP and a 3-5 record. Joey Wentz is 1-3 with a 6.38 ERA and a 1.45 WHIP. Those numbers are not that good.
Nope. So it's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle to try and win the series tomorrow. And then after that, you got a series starting on Monday, my birthday, woohoo, against the Royals.
Yep, all 3 games start at 7:40, and then they're back home for a 4-game set against the Chicago White Sox, and then a 3-game set at home against the Texas Rangers starting on Memorial Day at 1:10 p.m. on the 29th.
So again, a very doable schedule to keep within maintaining pace of Minnesota in the division.
Yep. Quick mention here. Red Wings forward Joe Veleno stopped on Nito Niederreiter during a game at the Men's Junior World Championship Tournament. And I'm not sure how action is going to be taken on this one, but it was a dirty play.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to you just recently.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Veleno stomped on Nito Niederreiter's leg with his
I'll expect
skate.
some form of discipline. So I don't see that as whether it's a fine or suspension or whatever. But I don't think he's going to go scot free.
Right. So I yeah, I guess that's going to be de- determined either by the World Championship Tournament, Junior World Championship Committee, and not the NHL, I guess.
Right.
So those are all the topics and teams to cover for this episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast Weekly Discussion. I'm Taylor Phillips, along with Ed Smith. Follow the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Like its Facebook page and subscribe to its YouTube channel at the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Also, follow my Twitch at DT2Phillips1984. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube at DT2Phillips. Follow Ed Smith on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, and on YouTube at Ed Smith 313. Oh, just a second here. There we go. His YouTube now. Special shout outs go to Athletico Physical Therapy on Woodward in Ferndale, Baldwin Family Healthcare of Cadillac with its dental center, Cadillac Nutrition. Download the Engage app to place an order for an iced or hot protein coffee, energy tea, or protein or post-workout shake. Cali Tickets, call Mark Goldman at 877-225-8425 or visit calitickets.com. Creative Embroidery of Cadillac for designing the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast logo on my long sleeve shirt and t-shirt. Cuts by Melanie in Lake City. The Edo Ramen House in Royal Oak, rated Detroit's best Japanese restaurant for consecutive years. 248-556-5775 or visit EdoRamenHouse.com or follow it on Instagram at Edo Ramen House. Delicious sushi and Philippine food. Impact north of Ortonville, where you can also get the energy teas and protein protein and post-workout shakes and whatnot. Let's roll with it. Rolled ice cream in Cadillac, now branded with the Food Mafia, next to Skegan Axe Throwing in Cadillac. The Masaki Golf Club in Lake City. Northern Star Event Rentals in Cadillac. Call Heather Krzyzewski at 231-884-8195 and like their Facebook page. Also the same number for Let's Roll With It rolled ice cream. The Red Ox Tavern in Auburn Hills. Samaritas Senior Living in Cadillac. United Food Service Solutions of Grand Ledge, Michigan. And Yen Yoga and Fitness in Traverse City. Our next episode, happy birthday ahead of time, by the way, is a week from Sunday on podcast night at about 9:30ish. Until then, for Ed Smith, I'm Taylor Phillips. Remember, the truth is out there. The truth happens. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Pound of the people. Hit them with a hind. We close our case.
Take care and stay safe, everyone.